those of you, so over on the Splinter channel that I've created, it's called Your Personality HQ. If any of you guys have not checked it out yet, you should check it out. So on this channel, I talk about homeless education, homeless awareness. So if you are about to be homeless, if you're new to homelessness, if you're preparing to be homeless, well, then this channel is for you. Now, what part of what makes people homeless is a lot of what goes on upstairs. Okay, you might be able to call it economics, but it's not necessarily economics. It's really what goes on upstairs. Okay, that's really what leads you down the path to homelessness, and it's not necessarily mental health issues that do that. So I have invited those guys over here if they'd like to be able to see the live. So if you are from my other channel, I would like to welcome you. If yes. Oh, hey, what's up, Matt? So it looks like we got Matt in here already. Oh, wow, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, man. Way to start off the night. So you know what we're gonna have is an age-old favorite, corned beef hash with some eggs. And I have been looking forward to this all day, actually. So let me get this started real quick because I always make sure to just start fresh. And part of it is I like having the conversation. It makes the cooking go by a lot quicker and all that other stuff. But that way you guys can just kind of be here for the whole process instead of like have me already starting with it. I don't know. I think that you guys like that, but maybe you guys would like me to already be started cooking when by the time that I'm going. But I think that you guys don't really care one way or the other. You guys are here for the content and for the side conversation. So, um, and as always, Sam always gets the can. There you go. Take your can. All right, so let's get this burner started. All right.
Ooh, that wind just started too again.
Oops, wrong one. All right. Yeah, so we have been dealing. So you might hear you might hear a lot of wind and you might hear a lot of flapping and stuff like that. We've been dealing with like what 30 to 50 mile an hour winds, something like that, and like really heavy gusts. And so like it started this morning. It's supposed to be over sometime around 9 o'clock, and then after that, like till 10 o'clock in the morning, the wind goes away, and then we go right back to gusts again all day tomorrow. So we get to have a lot of fun with wind for the next couple of days. It's going to cool down for about 2 days, and then it's going to warm up. So there's a big warm front that's coming here towards the end of next week that we're really looking forward to. But, um, but anyways, the topic for tonight is for, is talking about, you can't be soft and be homeless. Being soft is, it's not going to work. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Okay, farm girl and I. It doesn't matter if there's wind going on. It doesn't matter how cold it is. It doesn't matter how warm it is. There's things that's got to get done. We can't sit there and have a sick day. When you're homeless, you don't get a sick day. I had an interview that I did way back when. I think it was my first time in Gainesville. With a guy named One Who Studies, and we talked about the Billy Meyer predictions and the Great Dispossession and all those different things. I really enjoyed doing that interview with him. But you guys know my abscess. My face was out to here. Okay, I had an interview with this guy. I didn't sit there and cancel my interview. I didn't say, "Oh no, I need to go to the doctor" and stuff like that. No, you're homeless. There is no sick day. You just gotta power through it. It's not like when you're housed, when you're like, it's too cold outside, I'm just not going to do this. You can't do that when you're homeless. You can't let the elements get to you. You can't be weak. And every once in a while I get a little soft out here just because, it's like I want some creature comforts, and you're gonna get a little bit of that. But for the most part, you've got to be able to you've got to be able to stand up on your own 2 feet and power through whatever it is that you've got going on. Because you might have been kept up all night ducking and dodging the police because they kept moving you along every time you set up your bedding. and now you haven't had any sleep, but you know what? You still need to go look for work. You still need to go out there and make connections within the community. You got to get your shower. You got to go do other things within the day. So who cares that you didn't get any sleep? You still got things that got to be done, and there's really not, you can't really do anything about it. Hopefully you get sleep that night. Okay, maybe you go to bed a little bit earlier. Maybe you go look for a little place that is, off to the side and things like that. But for the most part, you're just going to power through it, because it's not like you could stay at home and say, well, I didn't get much sleep, I'm going to call in, because, you still have a job tomorrow. Every day is survival when you're homeless. And so I was supposed to be doing an interview with somebody who's doing, a podcast, and I'm presuming that by some of the stuff that he says, he's living, he's doing van life or something along those lines. And yeah, I understand that in the South, you guys are about ready to get dusted with snow. We got dusted with snow this morning. Yeah, I know it's not common, but it's common around here. But the thing is it was maybe a half hour or an hour of his time to be able to conduct an interview. But instead, he let his environment get to a point where it started dictating whether or not he honored his commitments. And the thing is, when you're out here, you've got to, when you say you're going to do something, you better do it, because that could be the difference between whether you get to survive and survive somewhat comfortably out here, okay? Because people know that when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it come hell or high water. Versus the guy who, as soon as the quickest inconvenience comes up, oh, I can't do it, da da da, and so everybody else is left holding the bag, and so therefore, that becomes really frustrating. It becomes counterproductive. It burns bridges. It destroys relationships, and therefore, those people that would have been there to help you, or just to follow through on the things that they say they're going to do, would have done that, but you don't do that yourself. You're actually causing yourself a lot of different problems when you do things like that. Okay? So that's just something to consider when you, if you ever have to be homeless, it's just like being a parent. You don't get to take a sick day with your kids. You have to be there to take care of them no matter what, even if you're sick and they're sick. You don't just get to sit there and say, oh, well, I'm going to call in today, or so on and so forth. The only way I would ever cancel something that I said I was going to do is if I was in the hospital or I was in jail. Okay? Because those are the only two legitimate reasons to be able to not follow through. Because you're in the hospital, you can't get out. You're in jail, you can't get out.
Sam, lay down.
No, lay down. No, come on. Come over here.
Kick it down. All the way down. Come on. All the way down. Yes, all the way down. Knock it off.
Okay. Okay, nothing in life is guaranteed. Yes. So, I mean, and the thing is I woke up, I made sure that I made myself available for this interview. Even though, the last few nights, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. Last night, I got some good sleep. I actually wanted to sleep until about 9 or 10 this morning, but can I do that? No, I got things I got to do around here that if I slept until 9 or 10, we'd have some very upset animals. We'd have a very upset farm girl who hasn't had her morning tea, and you'd have a very upset me, but refreshed, who hasn't had his morning coffee yet. So, you still got to get up. You got to you got to go around and you got to do those different things. So, this is, when you do this lifestyle, you've got to be prepared that you're just going to have to power through everything that is going on. You don't get to take a personal day. You don't get to, not follow through, because the thing is, every day being homeless is a day of surviving. Okay, you're surviving because you're looking for resources so that you can eat, you can drink, you can sleep, you can find ways to be productive, you can get the things that you need throughout the day. You spend your whole day just surviving. Hold on. I want to turn that down. You spend your whole day just surviving. And so taking a day off, unless it's like really detrimental, you're super sick, you can't even talk, which again, you should be in the hospital. But most people won't even go to the hospital that are homeless because they're like, no, I got other stuff I got to do.
I don't have time to sit there and wait at a hospital because, you know, they're not going to feed me. They're not going to give me the resources that I need. I'm not going to, you know, there's not going to be anything that's going to go on for me. So therefore, if I want to eat for today, I better just get up and power through it. And so a lot of them don't even go to the hospital when they're sick. That's part of the reason why you see some of these people keel over out here. You know, you cannot be soft in this lifestyle. You cannot let your environment dictate who you are, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, whether it be the scary weather that's coming. Yeah, there's scary weather that's coming, and, you know, like a hurricane, yeah, you got to hunker down. And, you know, or some serious weather, you still got to hunker down. But that weather is temporarily, you know, happening, and it's going to happen within a specific time frame. And so therefore, you know, if you set yourself up something and you communicate something, you should be prepared to follow through on it regardless. And so this, you know, in a lot of ways, I'm probably not going to continue to entertain the idea of going on this guy's show and doing a podcast with him and being a guest, because, you know, my time is valuable. I've got a lot of stuff to do around here. Plus, I've also got stuff to do on with my channel and everything else like that, because that is how I make my money, whether it be through my tip jar, whether it be through memberships, whether it be through AdSense, whether it be through making other things to where I can do consulting and educating, you know, and stuff like that. So I have so much to do that if you don't have, you know, if you don't respect my time, I can't respect your time. And, you know, this is something that I'm kind of having to get used to doing again, because when I was in business, this was, you know, if you weren't going to be on time in my appointment and then you wanted to reschedule afterwards, I wasn't going to reschedule with you, and I'd put you on the list of I'm not doing business with you because you didn't show up to your first appointment. Because the thing is your reputation is your credit card out here. It is when you can't get anything from the rest of society, such as you're trying to get, you know, money together for something to eat or whatever it may be. Okay, you know, when you can't even do that, it's the homeless community that takes care of you. Okay, it's the homeless community that takes care of you completely. So therefore, you know, if you're not honoring your commitments, especially to those within the community, when you really need that help and you can't get help anywhere else, those people aren't going to come around to help you either. Because there's a lot of accountability within the homeless community. And I think that there's those of you that have been here, that are in the chat that know homelessness as well as I do, you know, you can agree with me that there comes a point when there comes a point when there is accountability, there is penalties for your conduct within the homeless community, and it's generally handled by the homeless community, whether it be some of the enforcers, whether it be the gangs, whether it be the dealers, or whether it be just other homeless. When you step out of line to a certain point within the homeless community, that is taken care of internally. And, you know, if you screw over enough people, if you leave enough people hanging for not a good enough reason, then you're going to be one of those people that's going to be in a back alley getting a beat down. It's just the way it happens within the community. I've got to see it firsthand. I've also got to see what happens to snitches, because I got to see one that there was a skirmish with an undercover, and they chased the snitch down and beat him right there in front of everybody. And this was in San Francisco, over by Hippie Hill, back in the woods, if you know where that area is. So I mean, I've got to witness the quiet justice that happens within the homeless community. And so you can't be you can't be soft out here. When I was in LA, hold on a second, guys. I think this is ready to, and I can go to the eggs now. Okay. So when I was in LA, I ended up making my way to Venice Beach. I had bought I bought a doobie off of a guy for $2, and I decided to, resell it for the same price I got it, because I was like, nah, I don't. I got a couple. I got more than I wanted from the guy. Let me just get rid of this extra one that I had. Well, you know what? The gangs caught wind of that within a day. I get escorted over by the beach in an area where there's construction going on, in the dark shadows, with about 3 guys behind me. Okay? I come to find out that it doesn't matter if I sold it for the price that I got it for. Even though I wasn't making profit, I was interfering in somebody's business. And they were so serious enough about that business that they were willing to take my life to protect that business. Okay, now at first I tried to reason with them until I realized that there was no reasoning. This is the law. This is what you do, and you don't cross the line unless you're ready to pay the consequences. So again, this lifestyle will take a lot out of you in that sense. Okay, it will require you to be responsible with the things that you say. You can within the homeless community, they don't care if you screw over the houses, but they do care that you screw over those in the community. And it's not as strict as it was when I first started. When I first started, there was a lot of order out on the streets. There's not very much order out on the streets like there used to be. I will tell you that much. I mean, there's a lot of guys that run around that think that they're big stuff. But, it used to be back in the day, you would go, okay, so like I'm in San Francisco. The United Nations Plaza, that's where all the crack dealers would hang out, right? So all the crack dealers would hang out there. And so if the cops would run up on them, they would have to like drop their stuff and run. And so it was important to them that they kept all the drama and all the stupid stuff away from them, because they didn't want to bring the attention of the police because of what it was that they were doing. So therefore, they had enforcers and people around that would keep order. And if you got so far out of line that you brought the cops in because you wanted to be, whatever, well, you would end up paying a sometimes a fatal price, because again, you don't mess with their money. Okay, it doesn't matter. You see these cartels, you ever have to deal with cartels, they ever come into your city, they ever take over, as long as you don't mess with their money, they'll leave you alone. Okay? Oh, we're making eggs and corned beef hash. So, do we have any questions for him, girl?
Yeah, someone says, I've had to be on the street as a woman. Any tips? Been in the shelter before and stalked by men traffickers.
Stalked by who?
Stalked by men and traffickers.
Men and traffickers? Well, you're a female. You are a dollar sign, and within the gangs and within the cartels and within the criminal element, you're a dollar bill. And so, yeah, you're going to have to be careful. The women that I've met that have kept themselves protected, they're not ashamed of the fact that, yeah, they will do a trick from time to time, but it's not something that they go out and they do. But they also usually have a big dog with them, or they have a group of guys that they talk to that will keep an eye on them and make sure that they're safe. Because, when I was in Cincinnati, one of the girls that I made friends with, while her boyfriend was gone on one of his many bipolar sabbaticals, she almost got assaulted. And luckily there was, because she had people that were next to her camp that were keeping an eye on her, because, out here we guys understand that women are in danger. So therefore, if we have compassion or whatever, we're going to keep an eye on you, or at least keep an ear out. But the thing is also, you can't be creating your own drama either, because there's not a guy that's going to step in.
She can also go to a women's shelter.
Yes.
Sometimes, you can make effort.
Yeah, the women's shelter, yes, if they're not already taken up, because right now there's a lot of people that are going homeless, and the illegals, it's mostly single women and children, because those are the ones that were guaranteed to get across the border, and so therefore, you're going to have a much harder time getting in. Plus, women are such a minority out there that in a lot of times you go to the co-ed shelters because they don't have a women's shelter. Some cities only have men's shelters, and there is nowhere for women to go. Where was I when I saw that happen? It was Covington, Kentucky. They didn't have a women's shelter. Not unless you were a battered woman, and if you're just a woman that's homeless and you're not doing domestic violence, well, then there was nowhere for you to go. And they wouldn't let women in the shelter until, in the regular shelter until cold weather came, and then they had to separate the dorms. But 80 to 90% of your homeless population is men. So women finding shelters is a lot harder than it is for a guy. Me, I can find a shelter that are a dime a dozen because there's nothing but guys out here. But if I was a woman, man, yeah, I'd make friends with people that I know will keep an eye on me. I would look at getting a protection dog. I would look at making sure that you do your own close quarter combat defense training. So that means learning how to use a knife, learning how to use other things that are not considered weapons, but yet you can use it in a pinch as a weapon. Okay? Because as a woman, that's going to be one thing that's going to keep you safe out here. Because the thing is what will end up happening is the closer that they get to you, the less reaction time you have. The more they break down your walls to where you feel comfortable, the less reaction time you have. And this is why they say that the people that do these things to you are the people that you know, because in order to be able to get to you, to get past that apprehension, to be able to get you with the least amount of effort, they put a little bit of effort into the social aspect. Okay? So for a woman, again, that's what I would say. Does that answer her question? Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, Captain Fittest, what are we making? But I already answered.
Oh yeah, we're having. Yeah, I think I answered his question too.
Okay.
So, yeah, we paid $10, almost $11 a dozen. I mean.
Eggs smell like. Yeah,
like foul?
Smell like chicken butt.
Well, yeah, I mean, eggs always smell that way.
They're not supposed to.
That's the way eggs have always smelt to me.
It's because they reuse the same water to clean the eggs with.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I do with the, oh, there it is. Okay. Let me turn this off. Let me put this, See, I don't need to use that hook. Yeah, but damn, my wrist is gonna give out quick. This thing's probably about 10, 12 pounds. Easy. Alright, so what I'm supposed to do with this is put hot water in it or boil it or whatever. So I can do that afterwards.
Yeah, you want to boil water and put water in there. Yeah.
Okay. What happened? There should be another fork in there.
I put all the forks in the pail.
Say what?
I said I put all the forks in that tin.
Here.
Okay.
Alright. Alright guys, come sit with me. Sam's just sitting here. No, you better kick your butt down. Okay. No, little girl, you're not getting any tonight. I like my corned beef hash, and I'm not. Yeah, I've been sharing with her all day. I almost want to put some syrup on it. But let's see how corned beef turned out. Turned out pretty good. Yeah, I got a dog staring intently at me.
What do you do if someone is following something stuff you and you can't fight or anything?
Well, if someone's following you and you can't fight, well, then you have no will to live. Because if you're in danger, you're going to naturally fight. You may not be able to fight good, but you're going to do some damage. Again, it's not about knowing how to fight. It's learning about scratching and clawing, and, taking DNA with you so that you can leave a trail. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really had my encounters have been. See, you're not going to worry about somebody following you. Here's what happened to me. Well, he kind of followed me, actually. So yeah, I was in Shreveport, and I went down to the local shelter so that I could get some food, some water, and a change of clothes. And so while I was waiting for dinner, I was going to take Sam down. I was talking with the guy who told me how I could get down to the river, right? Well, then he ends up showing up at the river, probably maybe 10 minutes after I do, and then he's like, yeah, let's smoke a doobie. And then he's like, hey, I'm gonna go get some more, and then you want to go hang out? And I'm like, sure, why not? I mean, I think he'd already asked me, he's like, what is it that I do? Because he was trying to figure out what he needed to get, because what would later end up happening is we're sitting there in this little cave. Is he starts telling me, oh, I have this fetish for hair, and I like to take my clothes off, and I like to frolic, out here, and that's why I come out here in the forest, and, da 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 da. I'm like, dude, I'm not into that. I had to get out of there pretty quick. It's knowing how to de-escalate the situation, because that is more likely where you're going to put yourself into a position to where you are going to be attacked or put yourself in danger. But here's the thing, the people that are doing that, if they think, once they make the proposition, if you continue to partake of the party favors in which they brought you there for in the first place, you were therefore accepting their agreement, and you're trying to renege if you try and run later. At that moment, you stop what it is that you're doing and you hightail it if you do not accept their terms, because at that point in time, they're thinking, oh, well, I've got him. I've baited him. I've set the hook. Now let's see if I can get it. But you know how hard it is to get a stoner to, put their butthole up for sale? No. I mean, a stoner's not going to do it. A white doper, maybe, but a stoner, definitely not. So, I mean, the guy should have figured that out from the get-go. I just thought he wanted to smoke some weed. I didn't realize that he wanted to, frolic and grope my hair and all this other crap. Oh, my God, that was sick. It's things like that that'll happen to you more often than not. Any other questions, dear?
I don't know. Cole Prepper says, my opinion, all homeless, male or female, needs to carry a product called a G10 Sharpie. It's not a knife and doesn't look. It looks just like a Sharpie marker, but it doesn't make the same black marks. I said, just red ones, Nicole?
Yeah, no. It's poking holes in the bag. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, go for it. Do something like that. I think that that's a smart thing. Generally, I always tried to keep a knife on me. But with Sam and how she was all spazzy all over the place, I ended up losing more. I lost 3 or 4 knives along the way just over the year. But this is actually pretty good. You turn tables, looking same, be loud. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's certain things like within the black community, they're afraid of crazy white people because crazy white people tend to be serial killers. And so therefore, if they think that you're crazy, that's the quickest way to keep them away from you. Every culture has their things that just kind of like, no. Like within the Hispanic, if you start doing like devil worship and, you know, Beelzebub and satanic crap and all that other stuff, because they're so Catholic, it'll scare the crap out of them. It'll get them to leave you alone.
I think it's like Sancta Maria or something like that.
I don't know. You just start screaming chupacabra. But you know, everybody has their things that culturally they're taught to fear. You know, if you just start coughing profusely and go, I have COVID, you'll get plenty of people to keep away from you then. What's up, Clyde? Nice to see you. And Bucknet also. Yeah, Invisible Man, he was creepy. Okay. My opinion on homeless. Yeah, okay, so there we for carry a cane, you can do some real damage, so you can't be accused of having a weapon. I have a cane where I can handle comes to sort of a point. If I swing it, it is sinking in deep. Yeah. In San Francisco, you could go into some of these pawn shops and find these old ones where they'd have the flask in there for the bootleggers, and you could use it for all kinds of stuff. You know, canes used to be a really big thing back in the day. You know, I think your biggest weapon, especially for self-defense, is awareness and paying attention to the environment. Looking at people's nervous tics. Okay, so when you're in sales, you're taught to read people's body language. Now, it's ingrained in me as a second nature because of sales. Can I teach you it? No, not really, because I kind of had to learn it my own way. You know, I can tell you little things here and there, like here's a tell, here's a tell, here's a tell, when I see it. But could I actually teach you guys this? No. What's up, Turkey Dick? But the thing is crap, I forgot where I was going. I said hi. Oh, pay attention to body language. Okay, pay attention to a person's body language. That will tell you what's going on around you, who you should be paying more attention to, who you shouldn't be paying attention to, because unless they're a highly skilled, like, you know, we're talking like assassin or you know, special forces or something like that, most people are going to give you tells of what it is that they're going to do, what their intent is. This is why this is what they call in the law your mens rea, your guilty mind, because whether or not you agree with it or you want to do it or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter if you're if it messes with you in some way, your body's going to be showing it, whether you're enjoying it because you're wanting to wear somebody's skin suit. You know, you're going to see certain tells where they get excited. Especially when they start talking about your skin. Ooh, you got pretty skin. You know, that should be, hey, wait a minute here. And you're kind of talking a little creepy, you know, because you can tell that they're having like almost like an orgasmic moment. It's a tell. It's things that you can be aware of, because here's the thing. If you get good enough to be aware of your environment before anything ever gets out of hand, before anything gets to a point where you have to fear for your safety, you've already decided your exit, how to get out of there, the excuses you need to make, and just move along. Okay, so I mean, that is your true self-defense, because the last thing you want to do is bring attention to yourself or have to skirt out of a city because now you're under investigation or people are looking for you for specific reasons. So you gotta look for the most peaceful way out that will allow you to be able to continue to survive. You ain't getting any, little girl.
She's like, I want it. Give it.
Nope.
Give it.
No,
No,
you had dinner.
I want it.
Yeah.
Just drop a little.
So, I saw something. What will be the rough total of your property and septic. Property's around 8,000, I believe. And the septic could be up to $50,000, as low as $20,000. It depends upon what the percolation test is, which is about $900. And then you also got to make sure that you have a survey done so that you know that it's all done on your property and you're not digging on the other person's land. Okay. Also, you agreed, Tuck, the biggest thing everyone needs to learn in the current insanity world is something called situational awareness. Yeah, well, yeah, that's being aware of what it is that's going on around you. You can call it whatever you want. Situational awareness, have your head on a swivel, being frosty, whatever you want to call it. No, girl, you ain't getting them. I ate every drop. And if Mama's giving up some of hers, I'm eating hers too. Are you done? You ate it all.
I cleaned my plate better than you did.
Oh, wow. That must have been really good. Hold on, guys. Let's go. And so I think I figured out the signal thing. I was pointing my phone in the wrong direction. Let me have some of my Coke. And, all right. Samantha, knock it off. Some of you that want to be able to see Sam, hold on. Can we hold this for me for a minute?
Nope.
Let me see. Let me put. Hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna have to turn the. I want to show you guys Sam because I know some of y'all love to see Sam. Ugh. So there she is, all mopey because she didn't get to eat off my plate. I mean, she ate off my plate for all the other stuff, but she didn't eat off my plate for dinner because it was just too good and I didn't feel like sharing. See?
You had quite a bit for lunch, though.
Oh yeah, she ate like 2 bowls and a pan. So, all right, my drink, dear. Thank you.
You're lucky. I almost didn't get elbow syndrome.
Elbow syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
What? Your elbow stuck in one spot?
Nope. Drink it.
Oh, you want it? You want some of my Coke? Have some.
I'll have a taste. But no, a lot of times if there's a cup in my hand, I'll just start drinking and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well,
Party time.
okay.
I don't know.
So, but yeah, Sam has been sleeping in here every night.
Cheery.
For those of you that are curious, so yeah, Sam's been sleeping in here every night. Let's see what else. Yeah, she's hanging out with me more now that I actually have, like, being in here. I can have her corralled in here with me, and I don't have to pay full attention to her, do a lot of my work, and she still gets to be close to me. Back when we were in the truck, if I couldn't pay attention to her, I had to have her tied up. So she's not being tied up a lot, but she gets to stay out, hang out here inside. But she's gonna become a fat dog. You're gonna be a dog so fat I have to pick you up just to get you in the trailer, huh? She's getting really fat. I've been watching videos of women who are homeless in Kensington. It's terrible. Yeah, I know what goes on. I don't wanna hear stories of it. I don't wanna hear hints of it because, I just it brings back memories I don't wanna remember. So I mean, like, this is not a lifestyle for the weak and snowflake. Okay, if you're gonna be offended with everything, you're not gonna last long. If you're weak, the psychological trauma will keep you out here longer than if you would have just had yourself in order. But you can't be weak in this lifestyle. There have been plenty of times in my travels where I've had to learn how to exit predatorial situations. And it's some of them I've talked about, but some of them I will never talk about, just because of just how I had to take care of business. So Samantha, knock it off, quit being nosy. But yeah, you can't be weak out here. And as a woman, as a woman, if you're out here, that really means that you've burned a lot of bridges if nobody wants to be there to help you out. You've done a lot of things to jade a lot of people, to the point to where nobody wants to step up and do anything for you.
And as a woman, if you bring yourself to that situation, you should be very scared for yourself, but also you should do some self-reflection and figure out what it is that you're doing that's destroying the relationships around you, and figure out how to be better about it. Instead of blaming other people, look within. Because quite frankly, women, and I've met women that do this, they will shack up with a guy just to keep a roof over their head. And as soon as things get better for them, they kick the guy to the curb and go for what they really want. They're just looking for some poor schlub that's, you know, willing to make an implied deal of you take care of me, I take care of you type thing. And I've met women out there like that, and that's how they survive. That's how they keep off of the streets. And so when a woman burns those bridges where she can no longer create those types of relationships with a guy that wants to take care of her, then she ends up homeless. It is like I'm not talking about in a trailer or off grid. I'm talking about on a street corner doing tricks in the back alley. You know, that's what I'm talking about. That's why there's so few women out here, because if women were to stand up like men and have to suffer the same consequences as men, you would probably have a 60-40 split. You would have a lot more women out here than you currently do. But that's just the way it is. But again, that's really a topic that I stay. Some of them said that they're seeing piles of body wrapped up like mummies near train tracks. Oh yes, and in Gainesville, part of the reason why they keep breaking up the camps around Grace Marketplace is because there's bodies that are turning up. And a couple of months after I left, there was a young couple that was brutally unalived, that and found in a shallow grave. You know, there's been people that just come up missing and they never find their grave. There's a lot of people, and this happens a lot around the shelters, but it generally happens because of drugs. You know, because like I said, here's the thing, like, if they're going to give you something, they're going to give you a taste of it. Then once they give you a taste of it, they're going to let you know the deal of like, hey, I want you to do XYZ for me, or hey, I'm going to do XYZ for you, and this is how you're going to do it for me. And so therefore they're making that deal. And if you continue to partake, then you suffer those consequences. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, because again, as a male, we have to deal with predators out there as well. Okay, and they're a lot more sadistic than the ones that go after the females, because you know, it just it's really crazy, because I don't know, but anyways. It's just when you get to that point, and if something like that happens to you, and you weren't paying attention, or you weren't getting the hint that that's what was going on, because to females out in the homeless community, especially within the white dope world, if they're going to share, you're going to do something for them, and if you don't, then they're going to take it from you in a different way. And that's just the harsh reality of what it's like out here. You know, but it is what it is. Once the lights go out, it will be scary to go outside. For some people, yes. For others, no. Homelessness can be a very scary thing, but it's not something you should be scared of, especially if you watch my videos. So for those of you that are homeless, take this content if you find it valuable and start sharing it within the community, especially those that are new to homelessness, so that you don't have to sit there and waste your breath, and they can sit there and figure it out on their own, because now they have content. And then when they have intelligent questions, then they can come and ask you, versus, you know, having to have you show them everything, because you put a lot of time into people so that they can just turn into crapbacks. You know, and if you do know, if you're housed and you know somebody that's homeless, share this channel with them. This is supposed to be a resource for the homeless community, to teach those that are going to be homeless, and preparing to be homeless, about to be homeless, or who are new to being homeless. Give them the tools, the knowledge, and the understanding about how to be able to navigate the system and survive without putting themselves in unnecessary danger for unnecessary reasons, and just understanding the scope
of what it is that they're entering into. And there are those of you that have watched a lot of my videos, and that's exactly the feedback that I get. That's why I say what I say. If you have the ability to contribute to this, to kind of, I'm supported through crowdfunding. So that's, putting a tip in the tip jar, or coming on over to Patreon and getting a membership. Both those ways help fund me so that I have the necessary time and the resources needed to be able to make content that will be able to help those that are about to be affected by this coming economic collapse, this great dispossession that we are on the edge of to begin with. But do any of you guys have any more questions? Because we're kind of getting to that point. And yes, well, the whole world is going to turn into the Wild West, especially once the influence of government goes away. I think this is why they're doing so much to create the hysteria that they are. Because if they keep you in a constant state of fear, then they can control you by telling you that this is how you stay safe. You keep at your job. You don't leave your job. Even though they raise your rent, you just pay it. And whatever it is that you have to do, because the consequences otherwise, are going to be detrimental to you. So as long as they can play on your fears, they will have control over you. But if you learn the skills of being homeless and how to be able to survive and thrive out here, there's not a damn thing that they can do to you, because you realize you know how to survive with your house on your back and bare minimum, and you just know how to go out there and get it done, because you're not soft. You got yourself, as they say in the military, battle hardened. So, but anyways, yeah, it is going to be intense. But it is what it is. And those of you that haven't had your Coke and Toke, you should probably have your Coke and Toke. Because, yeah, this is my cherry Coke right here. For those of you that...
Cherry.
Oh, yes, I
don't like cherry.
Oh, I love cherry. Give me cherry Coke. Give me cherry anything, and I'll drink it. But I won't eat real cherries. So thanks, Occult. Much appreciated. Okay, guys, so you guys know how to help the channel. Share this content with people that you know that could benefit with it. Or leave a tip down in the tip jar, or come on over to Patreon and join one of my memberships. Tomorrow is the last day of the week that we're gonna do the live stream, so I will see you guys tomorrow evening. Well, thank you, Cherokee. Yeah. Anyways. I will see you same bat time, same bat channel. Real cherries are the best. Yeah, but I ate so many of them, Invisible Man, that I got sick from them. Cause like we went and I got a whole box of cherries because we picked them off the rancher that my stepdad was working for. We picked them off his trees, and so I had like a whole big old box, and I ate that whole damn thing, and then I got sick. And so I love cherries, but I just won't eat them anymore just because they make me remember how sick I got. But anyways, guys, I will see you. Same bat time, same bat channel.